Hello and welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here for the battle of today. This is the table. The mission is river crossing. An attacker have to cross this river, which is impassable, and only across the bridge it must be forded. And the battle is simple. At the end of the game, for every battalion on the other side of the river, the attacker gained 1 victory point, and for each attacker battalion still destroyed into the defender, the attacker half of the table granted to the defender 1 victory point. So the control of the bridge are vital for both the army. The defender starts with half of the unit on the table, the attacker with all of the unit on the table, because defending this bridge is pretty easy, so it's a hard nut to crack for the attacker to pass the bridge, especially because it must pass in attack or march column, and line formation cannot cross the bridge. And so if the attacker will build bridges, they have this problem too. And now, before deploying, so to see who is the attacker and who is the defender, the higher result of this role will be the attacker, and the attacker is played by myself. The defender will be run by the IA and supported by my mate Gerald. So the French will be the attacker and the Brits will be the defenders. So Gerald, you have to defend with the Brits. And now proceeding to deploy the army. There we are, the French are deployed in a long line of battle composed of 5 brigades, 1 of cavalry, 2 units of light cavalry, and 1 unit of dragoon with 2 horse artillery battery. An entire brigade of Leger, 4 regiment of Leger down here. They are under General Macoun. Then in the center, 1 brigade composed of 2 line infantry battalion, 1 of Swiss. They are not in the Peninsula, I know, but I paint them and I want to use them, and 2 unit of detachment infantry, 1 of Irish, freshly painted, and the other one is regular voltigeur. They are under General Marconier, the overall commander, General Marchand, General de Division, and a small brigade composed of 3 line infantry battalion, 1 detachment and 1 field artillery. They are led by General Delabas. And finally, a unit of 2 grenadier, 1 and 2, plus a unit of line infantry in support here, and a unit of field artillery, and they are under Delabas. The unit before is down there is General Arnaud, and the cavalry brigade is here. And before to start, I used the new rule for open order and detachment, which grant a +2 to activate if for battalion which are more than 12 inches from their officer, if all the brigade is made of light infantry. So in this case, the plan is to use the light infantry and the light cavalry to move quick across the board and take control earlier of this bridge before the Brits can react. The bulk of the army is in the center to force their way across the main bridge, and a probing brigade is on the far bridge of on the river on the French right. The defenders here, half of their brigade is on the field. The overall general is General Blantyre, 1st Division, Then a brigade of guard is in reserve. General Spencer, General Blantyres for the guard. Then the 1st brigade. Here we have a line, 3-line battalion. One is made of Highlander, which have the upgrade elite melee and tenacity. Field artillery, the 51st light infantry. The Brits continue to operate with light infantry in front of their partner brigade to protect them. A small brigade of King German Legion, the 5th and the 3rd King German Legion, plus an understrain unit of 2nd King German Legion on this side to protect the bridge down here. And finally, 3rd Brigade. The German Legion is under General Lowe. General Packham for this brigade, which is made of the 92nd Gordon Highlanders. No, sorry. The Black Watch, the 40, the 71st Light, and the 1st Scots, and the field artillery on the road. They will try to hold the bridge until the reserve will come. British in reserve have a guard brigade, 2 units of foot guard, and a detachment of 60 rifle, and a cavalry brigade made of 2 units of light dragoon and a unit of heavy dragoon. And that's it for the deployment, moving into the French first turn. Last thing before to start, the EIA select central defense for as a main strategy. Protecting the center and reserve will cover the gap or fill the broken wings of the center where more are needed, and if the British are forced to change, they move to equal defense if the pressure from the French result equal all over the spot of the attack. They will pass to equal defense. But now for the beginning they strict use the central defense force. So Gerald, good luck, and we start with the French first movement. First French turn is over, is essentially a movement turn. Everything activate with success and almost everything move at the double. In the center, the column of attack form a line ready to cross the bridge. They have enough room to cross the bridge, but with just the detachment and probably one single column, so they are decided to wait. The light battalions of the Leger division, the Leger brigade, is moved forward, spreading little, so that this one can offer support to the center bridge, and this one is at the back of light cavalry. 2 cannon and 1 unit have enough movement to cross the bridge, taking a double activation. And that's it for the first movement of the French, and now it's the British turn. The card drew by the French are the fast, so the stubborn, very good one. Now moving to the Brits. The general, it's a 3, it's a probe. A probe means that they have to advance and engage the enemy only when they are in superiority or sure to win, otherwise they have to fire. But maybe just this light battalion here with their skirmisher can have enough range to shoot at something. We're moving in the British first turn and back at the end for the cup. Before start to move, the left side roll react, so they move but react to the enemy, so they take advantage of position, and the other side, the right side, still have probe. So the central and the right probing the enemy the left British flank just react to the French, so they are in inferiority, so they will take defensive position, and we'll see. First turn for the Brits is over. The King German Legion has taken defensive position on the hill, and the second King German Legion, KJL, have enough movement to occupy the woods. All the woods are a defendable terrain. The Brits drew the all-out assault, not very useful at the moment. The bad news is the Central Brigade failed to activate, so they stay where they are, and the other brigade is moving in this way, taking two line in range of the charge of the Hussars, and the light infantry have enough room to occupy that wood, and the artillery is deployed. Because it could look as a weird move, let me explain it. I'm playtesting an home rule to a reaction for the emergency square if the charge is called by the cavalry on a unit in line in its front arc, and the unit is not shaken. It can take and is more than 12 inches away from the incoming cavalry. They can roll a quality test, a valor test, sorry, and if they pass, they manage to form a square. Then the cavalry can stop the charge on the spot or force the charge into the square and take the risk. Because maybe it could look a weird move and it could look a dangerous move, and if you look if I formed a square due to the charge of the French, you can ask how is it possible. But now that's it. So if you see in the next recap that they are formed a square because the Hussars has tried to charge and they reacted or not reacted and take the charge in their front. Anyway, that's it for the British first turn. We are moving to the French second turn. They drew disorder and take here, and now moving to the activation. A very successful activation turn for the French. No fire yet, but the small brigade on the small bridge successfully across it with one of its line battalion, which is also open in line, followed by the rest of the small brigade, and artillery were deployed. In the center, due to the failure of the activation of the Brits, the movement is very aggressive for the central brigade. They cross with all the brigade, the main battalion open in line, the two columns follow them. In front of them, at the max of their advancing, not staying on the road, are the first Voltigeur, the other one on the back, ready to take over and protect the flank, and then their commander. The Grenadiers and the line battalion of the supporting brigade also ready to cross. The artillery is deployed, and so the light battalion of the 1st Leger take position. The other battalion converge on the bridge, ready to exploit the attack of the cavalry. The artillery also deployed, both battery and the cavalry move in. The Hussars declared a charge, and as I said one moment ago, they successfully take a valor test, so they form a square, and the Hussars and its movement 3 inches away because they don't want to enter in melee against a square. And that's it for the second turn of the French. Second turn for the Brits. The card is a 4, so a breakthrough maybe will be useful later. The strategy on the right, they are in inferiority, so -1 to this roll. It's a 1, so relieve. They stay where they are, shoot, and fall back if necessary, but at the moment it's not necessary to fall back, so they stay and shoot. In the center, 6 engage if they can. So we will see if they manage to engage. At least move forward with and shoot with everything that could shoot. And on the left, they are in inferiority, so a 4, less than 4 is 2 to 4 is a react. So again, they stay, they probably shoot, and that's it. And this one could help the center or try to put some casualty into the line. The back at the end for a quick recap. From the KJ, I'll put 2 casualty into the line battalion. In the center, the shooting are not so evident. They just shoot with a skirmisher, but they put a casualty into the voltiger detachment in front, and they now are them to moving. Here, the fire is more intense. The square supported by the artillery, supported by square and line, put 2 casualty into the hussars. The light battalion put 1 casualty into the lancers, and that's it. Now moving. Now I'm moving to the movement phase, activation phase. Not many activation. The Black Watch try to move on the flank to round this wood here and face the incoming light infantry. And the center, everything is move up. They are shooting just one with their skirmishers so they can move. The rest is moving forward, artillery deployed, everything take line. And on here, this battalion here, which has not shooten before, is move forward, overtake this one, and come into range for their musket fire. Now moving to the French turn. The third is an all-out assault. This turn is not the decisive for the game, but the next turn the British reserve will arrive. So, in my opinion, this is the turn where the French must exploit the maximum advance, and then they brace themselves to the counter-strike of the Brits. So, we'll see if they manage to take a foothold into the half of the table and hold for the rest of the game, for the rest of the battle, or maybe push the Brits back, because they are in a good position, because they have all the 3 bridges occupied and a solid foothold in the center and on the left. So the British reserve will carefully be deployed by the IA, because the IA dictate they will succor, take an help for the most critical point. This could be this one, but we'll see what the cavalry will do this turn. So back at the end of the turn for a quick recap, and now the shooting phase. Small arm fire here. Skirmisher take 1 casualty into the woods for that unit here. No casualty on the artillery and on the infantry from the French artillery. 1 casualty here and 1 casualty from the KG in the KGL 2nd Battalion from the artillery. The rest of the skirmisher fire was pretty ineffective, and now moving to the French activation. French take position over the bridge. They take 1 unit in line, 2 column ready to strike. This central brigade activate successfully again, and they take attack position for the next turn, and supporting brigade, the grenadier, start to cross the bridge. The first battalion of grenadier has crossed. The second is on the bridge in attack column. The line infantry is back, still on the other side of the bridge, and the artillery is limber and move on the other side to offer support. The next turn, cavalry redeployed to protect the infantry on both flank and the center, and the lancers use the stubborn and charge into the artillery, while the light, all the leger move forward. The horse artillery has moved after shooting, and the rest all leger. One is crossed, the other one is on the bridge, the next are ready back. So that's it. Now we are moving to this melee, which is the first of engagement of the game. The Lancers charge into the enemy British battery. 4 attack base for the cavalry plus 1 for the support of the brigade. The dragoon back to them grant 1 dice. 2 for the battery plus 1 for the brigade support of the infantry on the back. Cavalry using stubborn take out is casualty, so it on a 3, no reroll for both sides. So the British battery inflict 2 casualty, but the French inflict 4, and so the gun is automatically destroyed. And this is the last roll of the turn, so the commander have to take a Fortitude test, double check the distance from the overall British commander in a sec. It is within 12 inches, so they have a +1 to the roll. The brigade is made of 4 units, so no more than 5, but just 4. So it's a roll on a 4 up, but with a 1 is a failure, so the first defeat is inflicted to the Brits, and the first victory is taken by the French. And now I proceed to spread the casualty for the partner unit within 6 inches from the destroyed battery. 1 more casualty here, 1 casualty here, 1 casualty on the square. And also I forgot to mention that they take 1 casualty from the carbon fire of the light infantry and the dragoon. I paid 2 more points for the dragoon and equipped them with carbine, because it makes sense to me. They have a carbine, they used the carbine. I talked with Jarvis, we said that they are mostly used as shock unit, and it's true, but it's also true that the model have a carbine and their main use is to shooting. So essentially I pay 2 points more and I use a carbine of them. It's not the end of the world, it's not so game-changing modification. That's it, the end of the French turn. We're moving on, British third turn. The British third turn is an 8 inspiration. It was needed on the previous test. And now we'll see the situation looks grim everywhere. They are outnumbered, the Brits at the moment, in every sector of the battle, so -1 to every roll. On the left, 4, less than 4, 4 is react, again they are still and shoot. In the center, 3, probe, again they will probably shoot with everything they can. And on the right, where the situation is ever worst, is a 4 as they still react, and the reserve will spread, and probably the cavalry will go to the right, and the guard stay in the center where most of the French infantry is coming. But now moving on the shooting phase of the breach. Fire from the Brits are blistering. 1 casualty here, 1 casualty here. They take 3 casualties, reduce it to 1, but they are shaken. And here they take 4 casualties, they are shaken and have to test twice for the Valor test, and the light put 1 casualty in their counterpart. So 2 tests, 2 Valor tests for the Lancers, 2 for up. It's failed, the Lancer is on a 3, but on the 2 it's failed, so the Lancer is gone. And now Fortitude test, the brigade is now reduced to 4, so a test on a 4+, it is, because it is within 12 inches from the overall commander, and is also failed. So 1 defeat to the French, and No casualty spread because no one is within 6 inches from enemy. So just the lancers is gone, and now the reserves and the rest of the activation, but the Brits have few movement, if not any. Start of the French turn, the Brits has evaded, the cavalry brigade and the guard in the center, the cavalry move in this way to help this flank. Now the card for the turn is a little bit late. For the Emperor at the moment is quite useless, but we will see. And now moving to the fire and the activation. The shooting is over. On this side, essentially the artillery put 2 casualties into the Black Watch. The rest of the skirmish fire is quite ineffective. Apart the artillery and 1 carbine for the 5th Hussar, we put 2 casualty on the square, shaking it. And in the center the fire is quite ineffective too, because it was all skirmish fire, so just 1 casualty is set on the 51st Light. On the other side, the few shot from the line and the voltigeur put 4 casualty and shake the 3rd Battalion of the King German Legion, the freshly painted, the curse of the freshly painted model continue. And the small battle, the 2 light forces, is the forces that hit the most during the shooting phase, both the French and now with the English and now the French. And now we are moving to the activation, and it promised to be a very interesting turn now. The light brigade, the Leger, all the Leger activated. This one is a change formation, is serrated its rank and form a column of attack, move forward. Another one is crossed, another one is crossed down here. The cavalry fail to activate, so they stay where they are. And in the center, both the column of attack, the Swiss and that one, charge successfully in. The rest of the brigade is moving forward, and the grenadier cross and be ready to strike back. I forgot to move the artillery I set up in a moment. I left some space here for a fullback move, for a retreat, and in this side the column of attack without casualty charge the shaken battalion, and the other one, which won't charge a fresh British unit in line, successfully rally. And I either forgot to move the artillery. Now I moved the artillery and back for the melee, this one and that one down there. The artillery are set up, one is deploy its gun here, and the battery deploy its 4-pounder in the front of the line, ready to support the next stage of the attack. And now moving back to that melee, this column of attack of line infantry agreeing the shaken battalion. The overall commander, General Marchand, is deployed in this, is moved in this spot, so he can launch an all-out assault. So the French play the all-out assault card, which means that every battalion within 12 inches from their overall general get +1 dice to their melee ratio. And now the first melee down there. The defender have essentially 4 dice because they are British line, +1 because they are in line, +1 for the regimental the brigade support, so total of 6. The French column of attack have 4 attack, +1 for the all-out assault and 1 for the brigade support. So 6 dice against 6, but the French hit on a 3 rerolling 1. The Brits hit on a 5 rerolling 1. Thanks God they can reroll 1, because they hit just one time, 3 misses and 2 more hit. 3 attack for the French. This is one was corked, so at the moment no hit for the Brits. I reroll the cork 1 and the 2 ones. 1 hit is strike back from the Brits, so 3 to 1 they have to take 3 Valor test. I made at the moment just because I'm filming that melee, so 3 Valor test. They failed 2 of them, so even with the card they are routed, so the battalion is routed, and I'm back at the end for any fortitude test. Now the center, where the British light infantry in open order being charged by 2 units of line, one of the Swiss, one regular. The Swiss have a casualty, so all the melee will be resolved on a 4+, but the French are strongly an advantage at this moment. The defender at the moment have 2 dice because it's 3, but it's reduced to 1 because they are in open order, plus 1 because they have the brigade support. The French will strike with the Swiss. They've just taken 1 casualty, so why not? The Swiss have 4 attack plus 2 because the 2nd battalion is engaged also with the Brits, plus 1 for the brigade. So 7 dice against the 3, both hit on a 4, both rerolling 1. So 1 hit for the Brits, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have to reroll the 1, 4, 4. 4 against 1, the Swiss take 1 casualty, and the light battalion that have just taken 2 casualty now take another 4, so I have to take 2 Valor test. They roll 2 Valor test and they fail 1. They use the card to not spread so many casualty between the partner brigade, so they spend the inspiration and pass the failed morale. They are now only shaken, and so it's just 1 single fortitude test for the KJL commander. It is not within 12 inches, so it's a 5+, because this brigade is made of 3 units and now is reduced to 2, so is let me double check. 2 to 3 is still alive, so it's just a 4+. Hit pass, and the stubborn German soldier do not waver. And now moving the casualty and to the British turn. The sunset is coming, the time for the British is running low, so it's time to counter-strike and try to put a serious casualty into the French, because at the moment the French has taken few casualty and are in a large advantage in the mission, because they have just lost 1 single unit. The Brits drew 6, so it is deadly, and now they are rolling for the strategy. The sunset is coming, the time for the British is running low, so it's time to counter-strike and try to put a serious casualty into the French, because at the moment the French has taken few casualty and are in a large advantage in the mission, because they have just lost 1 single unit. The Brits drew 6, so it is deadly, and now they are rolling for the strategy. At the moment there is no modification on the center, because the Brits are the same strength of the French, with the reserve incoming and fresh troop to attack. The right is still imbalanced. The one French flank is threatened by the Black Watch, and the cavalry is coming, and only the left side is in disadvantage at the moment. So on the left the strategy is -1, so a 2 relieve. They stay where they are or move back to avoid charges. So in the end they move back and shoot with the skirmisher probably. In the very center, they no modifier, so a 6 engage, as it seems that the dice has heard me. And on the left, oh really, they stay put. The AA is not completely sure on what to do, so moving on the fire and then the activation. KJL put some fire but failed to take any casualty into the column and fall back as the AA suggests. The 60 rifle enter in support on the hill. The guard move slightly forward and take an attack position. The 32 line battalion has charged the Swiss, which were shaken by the fire of the artillery and the 69. The cavalry successfully take the hill and now start to threat the center and the right. This brigade shooting, shaking this column, but failed to activate to move away the square, but now is protected the friendly cavalry. Sadly, the Black Watch, after firing, shaking the artillery, but cannot do anything else, and that's it. One melee down there, the Brits against the poor Swiss, and probably the curse of the freshly painted miniature will continue. So we have now 4 attack basic for the Brits, +1 because they are in line, +1 because they have a brigade support, and no card are played at the moment. The column of attack of Swiss are 4 attack, +2, +1, but they are shaken, so they hit on a 5. So the Brits hit on a 3, rerolling 1, and the Swiss hit on a 5, rerolling 1. It's not bad at all. The French hit 4 times and miss 3 times. The Brits hit at the moment 2 times, but they have 3, 1 to reroll. And they also hit 2 more times, so they drew the combat, but they are the attacker, so they are the winner. 4 valor test for the poor Swiss, 4 up, and they fail, and the Swiss is routed. And this is the only melee of the turn, so 1 fortitude test for the brigade commander, which is within 12 inches from their overall officer, and its brigade is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, it's 4 battalion. Let me count in a moment. No, it's no more than 5 units, so on a 4+, they fail, and this is painful because it is 1 unit destroy, 1 defeat, and lots of casualty spread among the partner units within 6 of an enemy. I'm back in a moment for the French turn. No, it's no more than 5 units, so on a 4+, they fail, and this is painful because it is 1 unit destroy, 1 defeat, and lots of casualty spread among the partner units within 6 of an enemy. I'm back in a moment for the French turn. French turn, the card is a 10, so at the moment pretty useless. I can use it if I fail some key activation. Now moving to the fire and to the movement phase. After the shooting phase, the square is taking 1 more casualty, so you have to take a valor test on a 3+. The rest of the shooting is pretty ineffective, and before to move I have to take this test on a 3+. The square is stay, and now moving to the activation. This brigade activated, they have to charge the woods, while the 2nd King German Legion is defending at the moment. In the center, the line charge in support of the column of attack. They have to forego their reroll, but 2 dice are better at the moment. The cavalry still screen the line and the flank. The dragoon has charged the light dragoon, and the hussars has moved sideways, and this cavalry busy at the moment protecting the flank of the line, and in front they have no room. The light brigade Lager failed to activate, so just one, discarding a dice, is crossing the river, sorry, and they change formation, and now I put them into a column. And that's it, they are in column now, moving to the melee. The dragoon, which has charged the light dragoon over the hill. The dragoon have the tenacity upgrade, so they are veteran in tenacity. They have 5 attack, plus 1 for the brigade support given by the guns or the hussars in flank of them. Anyway, they have 6 attack on a 3 against 4 attack on a 4. The dragoon are heavy cavalry, so they can re-roll the 1. And at the sound of the trumpet, the French strike the line and make poor effect. But they hit 3 times, but the dragoon hit only 2 times, so no one is break. The Brits are shaken because they taken 3 casualty, and 2 is taken by the dragoon. I forgot to roll 1 dice for the brigade support for the Brits also, so 3 casualty are put on the French and not just 2, so 3 casualty for them. So the dragoon is steady, the light dragoon, the British dragoon is steady, and the French dragoon do not impress, but at least they still in melee, so the next movement from the British cavalry will be difficult, especially because this square failed to activate. Now moving into the center, where the French push on the attack. Now the attack was made by the line. There are 4 attack, plus 1 because it's in line, plus 2 for the partner brigade, but they have no brigade support because no one of their brigade is within 3 inches. And the Brit have 4 plus 1 plus another, no, they also are far away from any support, so 5 attack. The French hit on a 4, the Brits hit on a 5, and both will roll the 1, so no, the French cannot reroll the 1 because they cannot use a line, 1 unit is in line, so they hit 3 times. And the Brits also hit 3 times, even if they are shaken. But the turn is the French turn, so the winner are the French. The line will take 2 casualty and go shaken, but the Brits have to take 3 Valor tests, and they fail 2 of them, so the 32nd Line Battalion is gone, and the last melee is down there, the column attacking the 2nd KJL in the woods. They are an understrained unit, so they 2 attack. Plus 1 because they are defending wood. The column of attack have 4 attack dice, plus 1 for the brigade support. No one is supporting the KJL, no partner unit is within 3 inches. Both unit hit on a 4. Both units reroll 1, so on a dice, 4 attack, 4 hits for the French, and just 2 hits for the King German Legion. So the column is not yet shaken. The King German Legion with just 2 or 3 of tenacity, and they have a casualty, have to take 2 Valor tests on a 4+. They fail 1, so the 2nd battalion is routed, And now proceeding to the Fortitude test. The KJL now are under 50%, so the test is on a 5+. And his pass, the German is really stubborn. No defeat on that side of the table. In the center, the brigade is not under the 50%, but the commander is far away from the overall general, so on a 4+. They also pass a really stubborn style, British stubborn style. They not take a defeat, and now moving to the British turn. So quite at the end of the game, the Brits are stubborn, which is good at this moment, because now probably the counter-strike will come. Anyway, on that side, on the left, they are under strained, so -1. Again relief, they march back and shoot, or stand and shoot. We will see probably they march back and shoot. In the center, at the moment, it's quite balanced, so no modifier. 3 is probe, charge, if they manage to have more than 50% to win the engagement, or stay put and shoot. On the left, at the moment, it's quite balanced also, because the cavalry is out of the game from both sides, and the leger have 1 unit shaken and 1 unit in range of the Black Watch, so which are my veterans, British veterans. So no modifier. 5 is probe, so again, where they are probably going to win, they will attack, otherwise they stay and shoot. 2 casualty from the fire on this column, and 3 tests for that column from the combined fire from the 40 and the 71st, and now I'm proceeding to roll for them, and 3 tests for the line battalion in line. No other test for the fire is required, so 3 Valor tests for this unit on a 3+, because on the shooting, and is gone. No card that help. The central one, he's super gone. So 2 units gone. The light have to take a test. They have to test on a 4+. No defeat at the moment. The central one is within 12 inches. On a 4+, it passes. So even the French are quite stubborn in this turn, but lose 2 battalion. This brigade failed to activate, but they managed to kill 1 battalion, so they are okay, but the squad is still there. The cavalry activate for free, and the light dragoon fall back, left the heavy dragoon charge straight forward into the dragoons, French dragoon, and the light dragoon charge the hussars. In the center, the guard failed to activate. They want to charge, but they failed to activate, blocking effectively the rest of the other brigades cannot move anywhere, and the King German Legion moved back as forced by the AA behind the crest of this hill, and that's it. Moving to this melee, these 2 melee, which are going to start to be a classic of our game, my game, cavalry against cavalry. But this time the French managed to did what I want from them. Hold, take one side, busy, just threatening. 6 attack for the heavy dragoon, 5 attack for the regular French dragoon. No bonuses here. Reroll the 1 for both sides. French on a 4, Brits on a 3. So the French hit twice. The Brits spent the deadly card at this moment, just hitting 3, but you won't be sure 5 times. So the dragoon need to make 4 valor test at the end of this melee. On the other side, 4 attack plus 1 for the brigade support against the 4 attack of the hussars, with the support of the artillery, the horse artillery. So 5 against 5, Brits hit on a 3 because the unit which grant support is shaken, and hussars hit on a 4 because they have casualties. So 4 plus without any reroll. Definitely a Brit strong victory. 4 hits without any reroll. So 3 valor test for the hussars and 3 valor test for the dragoon. The valor test for the dragoon failed. The valor test from the hussars all passed. So the 5th hussars hold the ground. The dragoon is routed, and for their rules, the heavy dragoon must charge immediately the artillery and resolve the melee at the moment. So they have the 6th attack as before, now hitting on a 4 because they have taken casualty, but rerolling 1 against horse artillery, which are 2 attack because of the canister, so 2 attack plus the 2 for the rule of canister, so 4 attack against 6. The Brits rerolled 1, the French rerolled nothing. The French hit 4 bloody times. The Brits hit 3. And now everything is on this die. If they fail to hit, the cavalry will be repelled by the artillery, and it is. The cavalry is lost the melee against an artillery, which goes 4 hits, and this bring the British heavy cavalry to 6 hit taken, and so they have to take 2 valor tests. And both valor tests, 1 is failed, so the cavalry is gone. And now I'm going to resolve all the fortitude test. French cavalry have to roll 1 die because he take 1 loss on a 4 plus. No defeat. The Brits, no defeat, so both cavalry stay where they are. And now moving on the last French turn, because the time is running out, and so the sun is going behind the horizon, and the battle for this ford at the border of Portugal is quite over, and is a quite bloody battle. Last turn for the Brits. They also take a useless 10 unless they will fail to activate something. Now on the left they are heavily outnumbered, but they are pretty safe because the French do not pursue. So a balanced roll without penalty, 3 react. So they shoot if they have line of sight, no line of sight. So the center is needed a counter strike, but they are outnumbered, but they are also the last turn of the game, so no modifier, 6 engage, and they will engage. And on the left they relieve, so they stay where they are, shoot or fall back at the end of the shooting phase. In shooting phase it's over. This 60 rifle put 2 casualty and force 1 valor test on this column. 1 valor test is forced on the grenadier from the point blank fire of the Gordon Highlanders and the artillery. 1 valor test for the SARS taken by the fire of the carbine or the light dragoon, and one unit shaken, but no test is taken. So, one Valor test for the column down the hill on the British left side. It stay. The grenadier in the center. It also stay, and the hussars. It stay. So, no problem for the fire. Now moving on to the activation for the last turn of the game. A mistake was made by Gerald. They do not shoot, so no test for them, but nothing changed because they pass anyway. So no shoot because they charge, and they use the stubborn rule to take out one shaken, one casualty. They are no more shaken when they charge into the hussars. That is the charge. Here the guards successfully activate and charge into that battalion. And these two are the last fight of the game. So we'll see the outcome of this final melee, and now proceeding to count the point, because sincerely I lost track of how many points per side. So starting with the cavalry, 4 attack, no support, 4 attack, 1 support from the artillery, and the French hit on a 5, no card to roll. The Brits hit on a 4, no card to roll. So Brits hit 3 times while the hussars miss everything. So in the end the poor hussars failed to resist, and now have to take 3 Valor tests to stay and survive the game. But no, they are routed, so the hussars is gone, and 1 Fortitude test will be taken at the end of the phase for the cavalry brigade. And now in the center, the foot guard have 6 base attack, plus 1 for the brigade support, plus 1 to the all-out assault play by the General Spencer. So 8 attack. The French column have 4 attack, plus 1 for the supporting unit behind them, with no reroll. So the Brits hit on a plus 1 because they are in line, so 9 attack. They hit on a 3, and no, they are 8. I'm correct, 8 attack. They hit on a 3, rerolling 1. The French hit on a 4 without rerolling. So the guard do what the guard usually do, so break bones. They hit 4, 6, 7 times, while the French hit nothing. So the column has badly beaten down by the Brits. They have to take 4 Valor tests, and they miserably fail, so the column is gone. Now 2 Fortitude tests, 1 for the cavalry. Now they are below half strength, so on a 5+, and they pass. It's out of the 3, but it's a 5. They pass, so no defeat, and the battalion of infantry is on a 4+ because the leader is within 12 inches and is also pass. So a really tough match. Both the sides are very stubborn to concede ground. Now I removed 2 casualty and moved to counting the point for this battle. At the end of the game, the French have 9 infantry battalion or cavalry battalion on the other side of the river, plus 1 defeat inflicted for a total of 10 points. The Brits managed to destroy 7 complete battalion, plus 1 defeat, so a total of 8, so 10 to 8 is a victory for the French by 2 points. So a very close victory, and at the beginning of the third turn it looked very, very difficult to British to return in points. So they they act pretty well, and I don't know with another couple of turns what will happen, because this side is pretty in the hand of the French. Now the light battalions are all on that side, artillery is safe, the cavalry up there is essentially unscattered, and in the center the Grenadier Brigade is take some casualty but still operational. On that side all the brigade can maneuver and take the flank of the center. Battalions are steady on a hill, but pretty safe against one single KJL battalion. So all in all, it's a very fun game. It's a hard one. It wasn't easy, as I told, for the Brits to defend, but it's not easy, as I told, to grab the victory for the French, because it was a quick move into the enemy territory, but then it was another battle for the outcome. All in all, it was a very pleasant game. I hope that you enjoyed. The new rules for the light infantry, in my opinion, work pretty good, because they force you to maneuver. They are good enough to screed all your army if you want, but they move slow than before, so you cannot simply run over the objective, storm an objective, and then defend for all the time. And this is particularly true for the Brits, which when they are on to the objective, they are not to crack in the fence. So with a 12-inch movement for the Brits, an entire light brigade will conquer an objective and then hold really until the end of the game. So good job, Jarvis. It's a very good rule for me. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.